This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishikesh.
I've been waiting for this. The lovely Aahana Kumra is in studio. What's up, yo?
Hey, good morning.
Listen, I have to say I loved your performance in Lipstick Under My Burkha.
Thank you so much.
You're just absolutely stellar. Big fan of your work. And I have to say, I'm a boy's boy and a man's man. Other than all your serious performances and your theatre and this and that, I love your bikini shots, dude.
है ना? I also. I don't know why. My father also tells me तुम comedy क्यों नहीं करती हो? Everybody thinks you're too serious.
No, but that's really cool and it's wonderful to see you.
Thank
and you've
you.
been traveling a hell of a lot. I mean, I've seen pictures in Japan. I've seen pictures in Japan. I've seen pictures in Queensland, in Australia.
Australia, yes.
All of this couldn't be just for work. You obviously have a huge social side, social commitment. So talk me through what happened in Japan.
So I had gone to Japan almost 2 years ago with Lipstick, and that was my first solo trip ever. And I think I instantly, you fall in love with a country or like a city, and Tokyo was my first love, I think. I've been to a lot of cities. My father lives in Moscow, so I've been traveling to Moscow all my life, as a child. But I've never instantly fallen in love with a city or a country. But Japan was just so quirky. It was so interesting, and it was my first solo trip. And I watched Lipstick, so it became very special for me, like as a country, like that place became really special. And I think my want and desire to go back to Japan was so strong that I did like this collaboration with Sapan. He called me up from East India Company, and he was like, listen, we're doing this video. Would you like to be a part of it? It's like a full gimmicky thing that we're doing, and it's all against patriarchy and against gender norms. And I'm like, yeah, listen, I've been doing that for like the last 2 years and I'm being bashed about it. But yes, let's go for it. So I did that, and then suddenly I got an email from the UN Women, and they said, you've been invited because this was part of the UN program. And suddenly they were like, this is happening in Tokyo. And I was like, oh my God, what are the odds? I go back to Japan. But yes, I've traveled with Lipstick to about 3 countries. I've been to Australia with it. I've been to America with it. I've been to Japan with it. And I did a show recently in Hong Kong. So the last 2 years has been a lot of traveling and lots of
Which is a good thing.
Yeah.
And you'd be interested to know that there's a huge show on the BBC called The Graham Norton Show that I really watched. And he had Ed Sheeran on the couch.
Oh.
And Ed Sheeran said, man, I've been touring for 5 years and I needed to get away to some place where they won't recognize me. And Graham Norton is joking with him, saying, you're Ed Sheeran, boss.
Yeah,
you get recognized from Africa to India. He said, no, but I went to Japan. Nobody disturbed me.
Yeah, but you know what? They don't piss you off.
Nobody disturbed me. Mostly they didn't recognize me. And if they did recognize me, they thought it was somebody like me, but nobody, they're so polite.
Yeah, they don't come to you. They don't harass you. In fact, if they even want a picture with you, they will not take a picture. They will first take your autograph. And I think that's wonderful about Japan. It's one of the quietest countries I have been to. On the metro, they announce, in fact, please refrain from talking on the phone. So there's nobody talking on the phone. It's a quiet metro. Even on a really hectic, I was traveling all the time by the Tokyo metro because the cabs are hell expensive. So, you have to always take the public transport. And I have never heard anybody's voices. So I kept telling, I met, in fact, the external minister of Japan, and I met him there. And I told him, I said, this is the only country I've never heard people like, you should really travel by Mumbai metro and, local train in India. You will understand what we go through.
How cool is that? Now, listen, I know that Mr. Shah, Naseeruddin Shah, is a huge influence in your life.
Yes.
You were in The Father, and, I've seen pictures of you with him. I'm one of the few privileged few who got invited home right after he wrote his autobiography. We did an interview, and, there was Mrs. Shah and him, and I hung at the house. And obviously the kids, Vivan and Imad, are also buddies. So talk to me about Naseeruddin Shah and how he's a mentor to you and how much you picked up stuff from him. Yeah?
Well, I've picked up everything from him. So he's my biggest influence. The biggest influence after my parents in my life. And there's always one person who you look up to or seek advice from. And I think he's really like my 1 a.m. call if I really have any troubles with the kind of work I want to pick up. And I think, he told me very early in my career that don't be afraid. I think one thing that you need to understand and, work through with if you want to work in Bollywood, because it's a very strange place. It's not like, that you send a resume, people like your work and they hire you. Sometimes they like you, but they will not hire you for whatever reasons that there may be. So he told me just be fearless, If there's a TV serial, pick it up. If there's a film, pick it up. If there's a theatre production, pick it up. Just pick up every work that comes your way. Learn how to say yes. And I think that's the biggest learning I have got from him. And because of that fearlessness today, I have a variety of work on different platforms, whether it's web, whether it's theatre, whether it's television, whether it's films. And I just pick up work if I like it. And I don't get scared. I've in fact done sports anchoring. I've done pro kabaddi. And I had to go through a workshop with Star Sports. I had no idea about kabaddi. I have no inclination in sports. But, I had to go through those hours of understanding the sport and, learning the game. And I suddenly had newfound respect for sports anchors because you have to write your own script and, it's all over the place. And you have to really be on the ball of your foot. So it's a lot like theatre.
And it's a lot like radio.
It really is, yeah. It really is.
Yeah,
so I think I have respect for radio stations, people who work on radios, people who have, who just have to do the kind of work which is like really spur of the moment, which is right there and then. It's nothing scripted, So
and also in your resume is the fact that you worked with Makaran Deshpande.
Yeah.
And every time I bump into Mac, I say, man, tere plays jo hai, wo sar ke upar se nikal jate hain, yaar. You see these exquisite productions.
Yeah.
And some of them are really, really. But the one you did, which is Sar Sarla, is, I have to say, is at least the most understandable of Mac's.
That's exactly what Naseer sir also says. He's like, तुम्हारा play देखा, अच्छा लगा, कुछ समझा नहीं, लेकिन play अच्छा लगा. And that's a thing that's been going on with Mac sir for years. And I think that's what I like about him. And it's so important for actors to work with him because he's such a different school. Like Naseer sir is a completely different school. Naseer sir goes by the text. We go into 6 months of reading or 3-4 months of reading the play only. We don't even get on floor. We literally read the whole text. He doesn't change an to a the because you're picking up a Shaw, you're picking up Shakespeare, you're picking up Isma Chugtai, you're picking up all these texts which are a Beckett, which is, existing, and he does not want you to change the text at all. It has to be as it is. And with Max sir, he'll just be like, okay, let's go on the floor. Let's see what you have to do. And I'm like, what? It's so all over the place, but everything comes together when the production, goes on floor, when it opens. And I think he says a very interesting thing. He's like, natak ghatna chahiye. And it's so nice when he said that to me because I was like, that's such a different opinion from so many other productions that I have done.
Yeah. Lipstick Under My Burkha, what a stellar film. I mean, the fact that I know Alankrita from way back when because I used to do all of Prakash Jha's voiceovers and for all those movies and things like that. And I always knew that she'd do her own films. And, when I saw her first movie, which was with Gul Panag, I was like, man, she can do better. And here's a cracker of a film. And an ensemble cast. There must have been lots of estrogen on the set too. Just women and women and women and women.
Hey, listen, I had a lot of men in my scenes. Have you forgotten?
You did.
I did. So I did not have too much.
Briefly so.
Yeah, briefly,
you really sunk your teeth into Leela, didn't you?
Yes,
and you just loved it.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that. And sometimes it can be an out of body experience because you're in a set with Ratna Pathak Shah. You're in a set with all these titans. Yeah.
Well, Ratna, I'm a big fan of her work, and she knows it, and I'm a huge admirer of whatever she does. And she's probably one of the only actors, in Motley, who comes to me and tells me what I'm doing wrong. And thankfully, she and Naseer sir work very well in tandem. So if Naseer sir gives me a perspective from a man's point of view, she gives me a woman's point of view. So I've done a play called Village Wooing, as one of the first productions with Motley. And she used to come up with such interesting contrast to what Naseer sir used to tell me. But at least it used to be in tandem to what he was saying, keeping the whole script in mind. But she used to be like, think from a woman's point of view. What would a woman think at this point of time? So it's always been wonderful to collaborate with her. So I have never been afraid, and I've never been scared to ask her questions. So I think it was really nice because I had that sort of a comfort with her. So, I went with it. But yes, Lipstick was a complete out-of-body experience for me because I'd never done anything like it, And I was very scared when I was picking up the film because I was like, hey, listen, what will my parents think? What will everybody say? And maybe I'll be pelted stones at, I mean, you don't do these kind of films and these kind of films don't come to you. It was important because I was like, this is a really important film. And while we were reading the script, I was like, there's not one, I'm telling you, I picked up the script and I finished it. There was no way that I took a break or anything because I was like, what's going to happen now? What's going to happen now? My God, there's a 60-year-old doing this. Like, it was so exciting, just kept me on the edge constantly. And that, I think, was the most interesting thing. And if I had not pushed myself to doing a film like this, I don't think I would have opened up as an actor. And I'm glad this has happened very early in my career. And there's a variety of work that I have done. And, if I always juggle in my little box of work that I've picked up, there's so much difference between one thing to the other. So I think Lipstick has been probably my biggest learning.
And it also has got to have changed you as a woman because, you live in Indian society where it's very cool for a man to be randy and have sexual desires. And, it's like, men like to sleep around or men have desires. And here's a film that turned around and said women have desires too and they can go out and get them if they want to. And that must have resonated with you. Yeah,
it did. In fact, the film came alive to me when we were in Tokyo, and Alankrita was the one who actually pushed us to coming to Tokyo with her. And we watched it with a full Japanese audience. And Japanese women are not like the ones who will go ha 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 ha. They are very quiet. Even if there's like a big joke, they'll just go so there's like a giggle. So there was like little giggles that we heard in the theater, and we were watching it for the first time. And imagine not even like with an Indian audience, completely different audience. But these women came to us, and I think one of them cried, and she held Alankrita's hand and and she's like, how did you know our story? And I had no idea what the Japanese society was about, And it's interesting that though it's another country, it's another space altogether, the stories for the women in all these countries have been the same. And because we've traveled with the film, thank God I got the opportunity to travel with this film, because I've met so many women from all across the globe, who have literally felt the same stories, whether it's marital rape or, it's about a woman who's 60 who has some sexual desires but has to curb it, or some woman who likes to have sex but cannot talk about it openly. It happens in every society. It's a patriarchal world. So that misogyny is not going to go away from you, but it has definitely changed me as a woman. I think I'm a far more comfortable person with myself now.
So dude, I like you. Where did you fall out from? You have a dad who's in Moscow. So where's mom and the family? I mean, where are they?
My mother is a CBI officer. She's a deputy superintendent of police. She's been with the police for about 40 years. She's just taken retirement.
Where's she posted? Where was she posted?
Well, we were from Lucknow.
Wow.
Yeah, we moved to Bombay because my father worked with a pharmaceutical company and he was posted in Russia. So he was living in Russia since 91, and before he was like, listen, before my kids start calling me uncle, please move to Bombay. We have to have one place where everybody's together. Because
so you moved here in 91?
I moved to Bombay in 97.
In 97?
Yes.
And before that, were you schooling in Lucknow?
Yes, I was. I was in Lamatne Girls.
Okay.
Lucknow.
And then you passed out and you came here for your college, or did you?
I did about 3 years of schooling in Bombay because I loved Bombay instantly because I was allowed to stay out of my house.
What school was
9.
that? What school
I was in Mary Immaculate in Borivali.
Wow.
It's a very sweet, quaint sort of a school in Borivali, and we moved to Borivali because my mother wanted to live in a duplex. My father could not afford it anywhere else. He was like, हम लोग बड़े-बड़े घरों से आते हैं लखनऊ से और ये क्या छोटे-छोटे घर.
I have to say this, the CBI has a swanky office in Mandakurla complex.
Now it is, please. You have to see the one at Tanna House.
I haven't seen that one.
You should have seen that.
So that's the one your mum worked in, is it?
She went to the Tanna House one.
No, luckily I haven't been in.
I was like, wow, Hrishikesh, what are you called for?
So that's really cool, man.
Yeah.
And this is what actresses are supposed to be about. I mean, you've got small town in India experience.
Yes.
And you've got the large metropolis experience, which means you can seamlessly fit in everywhere. Man.
I fit in everywhere. I'm very happy to meet more people.
Yeah, dude, and you're doing.
People.
I mean, I have to say this. I'm a dinosaur. I've been around for years and years.
I know.
And you really remind me of how PC used to be, dude. Like Priyanka Chopra, and that's a huge compliment.
That's a huge one. PC, are you hearing?
Because PC was like this. I mean, she'd come from a small town and she tasted big town life, and she was just ambidextrous. And you see where she is now. She's in Times Square, dude.
No, but you know what? It's amazing because
I wish the same for you.
Yay,
I wish the same for you. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
You realized what? You realized something?
I realized, a while ago that we cannot be only Indian citizens. We have to be global citizens with global perspectives, because of the work that's happened with Lipstick, and because I traveled so much with the film, and because I met so many varied people, not only Indians from other nationalities, and because they shared their stories, you realize that, everybody has these kind of problems and everybody's dealing with their problems on their levels, but the problems remain the same globally. These are not going to change, whether, these problems in the cities and the villages, it's the same for women everywhere. So you need to understand that you cannot be in that little, you cannot be that frog in the pond. You have to be that little shark in the, big shark, in the ocean.
Ladies and gentlemen, Aahana Kumra has a new gig out on the World Wide Web. What is it called? And tell us all about it.
So that's been really exciting. So that's called It Happened in Hong Kong. We shot it for the Hong Kong tourism, and this was happening for a couple of months and just getting postponed because the Chinese New Year was on the way, and everything. Finally it fell into place and we went to Hong Kong, and they told me Amol Parashar, who's very big on the web, is also a really good actor, is a very good writer who's also written the dialogues for the show, was coming as an actor on this, and Laksha Anand, who's directed the trip. So he was directing it, and I was completely sold. I was like, oh my god, these two, it's going to be great, and it really was, because everything was so smooth. We went to Hong Kong, we used to discuss our scenes every night. There was champagne, there was nothing to lose, there was too much fun, it was so cold, and we did our scenes everywhere. Most of them were actually shot guerrilla, because Laksh would suddenly be like, yeah, scene shoot karte hai. And we'd just plonk the camera and we would just start shooting. And the great thing about Hong Kong is nobody irritated us, nobody pissed us off, and a lot like Japan, but nobody irritated us. We shot on the roads and everything was smooth. So I'm really looking forward to this show, because I think this is going to be a cracker of scenes, it's.
So what do we do? We download the app and it's there. And
it's on the
Is
app.
it like binge watching? Are you doing multiple episodes, or is it just one big thing? What is it?
There are 4 episodes, and every episode is 10 minutes each, and I don't think it's a binge watch, but It Happened in Hong Kong was launched on 9th March. It's going to come once a week, and you can watch it on View, and it's not a binge watch, but watch it. It's great. It's 10 minutes each episode.
So that's VIU, right?
VIU.com.
So what are you playing in it?
I'm playing myself.
And that's
the
just
beauty.
you?
Yeah,
And he's a mole.
Yeah. So you know what happened? So Laksh was like, Acha, listen, so what do you guys want to call each other? And I'm like, listen, yeah. Instead of calling myself Reema, calling him Atul, or you know, some crazy name like that, please, can we just like keep to our name? So he was like, yeah. And I don't know anything about a mole. I swear, you know, I have admired him as an actor for so long on stage, and you know, I've been watching all his shows and everything for so long, but I have no idea about who this guy is. So when we got to Hong Kong, there were times like there was no scene. So he was like, "Arey tum wahan se wahan chalo, aur tum log kuch baatein karo." So Amol and I actually started to talk, you know, and I was like, "So who's in your house and what's happening and this that." So that was great because I got to know him because of the show, and you know, and that's actually part of the scenes. And I think that was amazing. I've never worked like this with anybody. So you know, literally getting to know your co-actor through your work, you know, through your scenes. I think that's a fun.
And you know, hanging with these guys who are internet sensations in terms of the comedians and this and that, it also keeps you quick on your feet and thinking, right? Because when you're doing on a movie set, it's very structured.
Yeah.
You're going there, you've already read your lines,
Right.
you're going to go and perform, and you obviously seem to be enjoying this other side, you know, where the comedians can just pick up the phone and say, Aahana, will you be part of this?
Yeah, that's what I love about comedians, you know, and that's why I like to collaborate with so many of them. And I've always said, please, like, you know, come my way and like, you know, let's do more videos and stuff, because I've been watching their work and it's so organic and it's so much fun to watch them. In fact, I think I've not been watching Hindi films, my bad, but I've not been watching Hindi films because they bore me, because the content in Hindi films is not that exciting anymore. And I think whatever is available on the web is far more exciting. It's far more us. It's my language. It's people I meet. It's people I talk to on a day-to-day basis, you know. And maybe it's some of them who, I mean, like, for example, like I watch Bachelors, which is one of my favorite shows. It's amazing because I'm like, oh, is that how guys think, you know? Because I have no idea how these guys from the IIT think. And they're funny to watch, you know. So I really enjoy watching all that.
So in Hong Kong, did you go up to that hill where the big Buddha is?
Yeah, the Tian Tan.
Yeah.
My God, I have such a crazy story about that. So we went up, and I think it must have been like, 2 degrees or 3 degrees or maybe 1 degree. I have no idea. And I'm wearing like this really big jacket and everything. And Laksh goes, action. And I cannot say a line without slurring. And I felt like I've had alcohol early in the morning. And Laksh like, cut. Kya hua? Why did you say your lines properly? I'm like, Laksh, my tongue is stuck. So it was hilarious because I wasn't even shivering. It's just slurring. It was like my words are just not coming out. So I had to do about 5 or 6 takes. Finally, like my tongue opened up, and you know, it's hilarious. I've never experienced things like that. So newfound respect for people who shoot in the cold.
You haven't thought of doing your own stand-up comedy routine, no? You know, just get on. You should.
Yeah, I'm so funny.
It's about time.
Yeah, people think that I laugh at my own jokes, but I think I'm quite funny.
What do all your classmates from Lucknow think, man? What did they say on Facebook? Yo,
yeah, they're very
cool
excited.
one.
But it's so nice because I was such a bullied child in Lucknow.
You were?
Yeah.
Why? Why would you want to bully you?
That's what I was very like, please bully me. Inviting people to bully me. No, I was a very bullied child in school, and it's so nice because I meet all my school friends now who are in Delhi and, you know, who are married, have kids, and, you know, some of them are in politics, very fiercely in politics.
You serious?
Yeah.
You have politician friends?
Yeah, I've got politician friends.
You have a ex-CBI mother.
So, you know, you can't mess
so
with
boys, watch
Don't
out.
mess with me. Yeah, so, you know, some of them, and they meet me now after all these years, and, you know, they're like, oh my God, we had never imagined that you even had a voice. And I think that was a big compliment from
So you were like a quiet girl.
I was a quiet, bullied child in school.
But were you academically oriented?
Horrible. I was like Tare Zameen Par. I was the Rashil Safari. My sister's a year older than me, and when I watched Tare, I was like, oh my God, you ruined my life.
And what does your sister do?
So my sister is in a very interesting work. She works with fragrances. She works for this company called IFF. So she does fragrances and flavors for a lot of products.
Is she in Bombay?
She's in Bombay, yes.
Wow. So you all are 2 sisters.
We're 2 sisters and a brother. My brother's in Canada. He's in Toronto.
What fun.
Yeah.
So at least you have a place to stay when you go to Canada.
Thank God. I'm not spending
and he has
money
nothing
on
to do with the
Airbnb.
media at all.
No, he doesn't.
Wow, this is a lovely family, dude.
Yeah. Everybody's like, what I like about my family is that everybody's doing their own thing. Nobody interferes in each other's work. You know, everybody keeps each other updated on what's happening in everybody's lives. But nobody interferes. But all of us are in different varied professions. And I think somewhere I draw from all of that. Because I see how, systematic my sister is, and how horribly disorganized my brother is. And, my father's all over the place with he's traveling all the time. My mother's constantly with women and their issues. And he's always doing these kind of things, So I think I somewhere draw inspiration from everybody in my house, including my cat.
And do you live alone?
No.
Single girl in the city, or you go back to family?
Not at all. I go back home with to my parents. My parents are here.
That's a super secure environment.
Isn't it?
You need that, dude. You need something to ground you.
I know, yeah.
Anyway, attractive single girl in the city. The boys, aren't they coming calling? I mean, so...
I think they just listen to my resume and they're like, iski maa police mein याद करेगा.
So there's the mother resume, and here's the Aahana bikini pictures on Instagram, and then they go
Choose wisely.
Okay, so have you signed a motion picture, or are you looking to do one?
I am looking to do one, and I mean, we're obviously in talks with like a couple of things, but let's see because it has to be something interesting.
Correct. Till then, it's View. And,
Yes, please
and
watch it.
Please watch it. 4 episodes, 10 minutes each. And what's the show called?
It's called It Happened in Hong Kong.
It happened in Hong Kong with Aahana Kumra. Before you go, my last question: what is on your phone as far as music is concerned? What are you listening to?
Apple Music. But I'm right now obsessed with the Black Panther music.
It is amazing.
Isn't it? Can't you tell? I mean, I listen. I wake up in the morning and I'm listening to it. I'm like, what? I should be listening to bhajans. That really does it for me. Like, I wake up in the morning, I'm like, okay, drug. Let's go.
It is so cool.
Love the music.
Wonderful, wonderful. So that's on your. If you wanted to reimagine India, what would you reimagine India as today?
I think it's a very far-fetched thing, but I have really imagined it to be like Tokyo. I wish it could be like that. I wish the people in our country could be as disciplined as that. You know, it was amazing because what I learned from Japan is such punctuality, because I missed my train and then I had to wait, 2 hours to get the next train to go to a certain place.
But you're so punctual. You're here before time for the interview.
Yeah,
Wow,
well,
which is more than I can say for a lot of people in your fraternity.
I'm sure. No, I'm really punctual, but I think I got delayed because I just woke up late. It was snowing. Yeah, come on, give me a break. My blanket was very inviting. So I got delayed, and then I had to like miss a train, and then I had to wait for 2 hours because otherwise I would have had to spend 25,000 yen for my cab ride. So that was utna paisa nahi hai mere paas.
Yet the operative word
Oh,
is
yet, yeah. So yet, yeah. So I think somewhere what I have learned from the Japanese is punctuality and precision, and the way they are, they don't hit you, they're so polite, and they're really nice with the way they deal with the human, with each other as human beings. So, and in fact, like I met the ministry, the minister, and he came to me with his card, and he gave me his card and introduced himself. He's the external minister of Japan. He doesn't need to come and introduce himself to me. But I think that was such a great thing, because here I don't think any minister would come and introduce themselves to us. So
lovely. You are lovely. And
Thank you. And so are you.
Very pleased at meeting you. Take care of yourself and have a wonderful, wonderful day and career until we meet again.
Yay,
Cheers.
Yes, thanks.